Perfect.
Okay, so it does say we are live on YouTube now.
Perfect.
Alrighty. So I guess we'll start the meeting. I'll make sure I got my paperwork correct here in front of me. Today is January 25th, 2021. To start the meeting, do I have a mover? Maggie. And a seconder? Jeff, anybody? Ian? Seconder?
What's up?
Okay, I wrote you down, Jeff. Alrighty. Signature. Okay. Meeting. The committee approve the minutes of the adoption of the agenda. Okay, so the next one is that the committee approved the minutes of December 22nd, 2020 as circulated. Do I have a mover? Yeah. And a seconder? Okay. Well, sorry. I just had something pop up on my screen right in the middle. Okay, it's gone. It was something to do with okay. Meeting. Okay, so now we are at disclosures of interest. So this is where Jazz would normally kick in. So I guess it's going over
If anybody has anything they wanted to
talk about in the last meeting. Does anybody have anything to bring up from the last meeting or anything? No? Okay.
Good.
2, delegations. Should be pretty simple. I don't think we have any because there's really nothing written down. We've got all that survey. Did everybody do their survey? Or stuff
The survey?
I don't know, the thing that was in with the paperwork. The community survey draft or whatever. Did you guys see that on the back of the?
Yeah, not there yet though, Brandy.
Yeah, no, so we're under reports for consideration. The first one was to review the recreation contact list with everybody.
Okay. I don't have that contact list in front of me, do I? Sorry, there's so many pages. Oh, wow. You mean this one that's like really, really tiny?
Yes, the one that's really, really tiny.
Wow. I guess this is the time when I should say I need glasses. Anybody
Was
else?
it just to get the contacts that weren't on there? If anybody knew,
Yeah.
is that what that was for?
Yeah. So if we're missing anybody or there's somebody else we should be adding or anything else of that nature, then now's the time we should speak up and
They're added.
yeah, exactly. Make sure that they can just
Has anybody thought of anybody that wasn't added or that we need to make sure that they're added? Looking at the very bottom parts here. Town of Carleton, please. Municipality, Backwoods Township. Maggie, did you have a chance to really review it, or Val?
A lot of it was sports, and I don't really know anybody for the blanks.
Just to make sure, I guess, that, well, as long as Smith's like our closest local places, skating, girls hockey, minor hockey. I'm not noticing anything missing from there other than Jerry Lowe Foundation. If we could add the Jerry Lowe Foundation, because they do, that's how actually the rank in Smiths Falls got there.
Right.
My contact for that would be
Rob Garvin.
yeah, Rob Gervin. Thanks. I was having a blank there, Vince.
That's fine.
that he would be the best. Now, I don't have his number on me, but I could probably get it to you tomorrow.
Yeah, any information you guys have, if you haven't had a chance to review it, if you just want to take a look through in the next couple of days, and send any changes you'd like over to myself, then I can change that spreadsheet. But we would like it sooner rather than later, obviously.
Yeah, the only thing I wanted to add was just for me personally was Rob Garvin at the Jerry Lowe Foundation. I think that they're good to have for contacts.
Would you like his phone number?
You got it, Vince? You're good.
Yes.
You can give it right to Joanna then.
We should
So-
probably do it over email. I don't know if we want to publicize his phone
Oh, good,
number
yeah.
on
Good point,
YouTube.
Good point.
That's fine.
Catch.
I'll do that later.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Joanna, I'll try and look up those ones over the next couple days that I had mentioned. So some of the ones I noticed that were missing is I think there's a lacrosse league in Smith Falls, but I'm not 100% sure. I do know that there is a ball hockey league. There's the Smith Falls Volleyball League, and Carlton Place has a second hockey league, the Mississippi Thunder Kings.
Yeah, we had, I believe we added, I had thought we had added those to the list, but maybe I attached the wrong one. The ones that were sent
I
in,
know
we tried to-
the changes were there. Oh yeah, I see the ball hockey on there. I didn't see MTK, but
What's this spreadsheet?
yeah, I'll double check. I didn't get a chance to look at the new list. I just pulled it up now.
Okay.
But I see some of the other changes I sent her there.
Or anything else anybody wants to add to that?
Yeah, Brandy.
Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, a couple things with this list. It's, I mean, I know I talked to the lady that's running it too as well about adding some of the Perth stuff too as well, especially the Perth pool. Just because that's one that people use as far as facilities go in Perth. The other side of it too as well is we want to look through it to make sure we have as many as we have what we want, but also as the surveys are coming in, if you do see contacts on there that you do know, as the surveys are coming in and we know who's filled them out and who hasn't, because we want to start, it'd be nice, either someone from the rec committee, and I don't mind doing it too as well, obviously, is contacting those ones that haven't filled out the survey, just to kind of encourage them to fill it out, just so we can get as many of those organizational groups to fill it out. I think, like, sort of my side of it, I think they're, like, that survey is one of the really important ones. Like, obviously our community one's very important too as well, to get people's opinions. But on the other side of it, these groups know what's missing in our community. So I think that's the other one too as well. So if you do know people from there too as well, the consultant group is very interested in that, just for the fact that we can call them up. So that's another side of it too as well. If we can let Joanna know that too as well, if you know people on that list, so you can be a follow-up to them, not necessarily right out of the gates, but if they don't fill it up, say like by week 3, if it's not filled out by those groups as they're starting to filter in, that we can reach out to them.
Have those surveys gone out
No,
already?
No.
Okay. I was gonna say I haven't heard anything for soccer. So just wanted to check.
we're hoping kind of by, like, what are we thinking there, Joanna, like into maybe beginning of March is by the time we'll have everything really get out there. You're on mute.
Sorry, I think they were hoping to release it February. So I don't have the specific date yet, but I believe it was February sometime.
And it's all online too, right? So I mean, like, it's people can request a paper copy if they want to, but really the encouragement is online. That goes for the community one too as well, when we get into that one too as well. So that's really the big one. So I think we want to get as many of those groups to fill it out as possible, because that's really going to give us the best data for what's actually missing from the people that are running those groups. And that's, I think, a really important data to have. So thank you.
Okay. Does anybody else have anything that they'd like to add? No? Okay.
Bill's got his hand up.
Bill does.
I don't have them on my screen. Hold on, maybe I don't have it blown up enough. There we go. There we go. Oh, now I see him. Sorry. You're on mute though, Bill.
Okay, good to see everybody. Thank you, Brandy.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was going to mention a couple that Melissa already mentioned. I wanted to make sure that I didn't look at the list, so as I'm not really on the committee, but I appreciate being with you. Just wanted, one was the Soccer Association. The other one I was wondering about what about the Gallipo Center? And the reason I mentioned the Gallipo Center, if it's not on, is there used to be a pretty good involvement with swimming at the Gallipo Center, and who knows, in the future there could be more. The other thing is, especially and not just for children or youth or schools, but also for seniors. And the other thing is, sometimes you really don't know what's going on, what's not going on at the Gallipo Center. And I'm wondering, there could be recreational things happening out there. They've got a double gym that I'm sure is used. I know there used to be a badminton club there, and there may be others. So I just wanted to mention those two. Thanks.
I'm glad you did, Bill, because I know it's really small, but from what I can see, I don't think it's on there.
It is. That's at the
Yeah,
bottom.
You know, with that, the hub, would they be two separate entities, Bill?
Yeah. Yes. Do you mean the Two Rivers Food Hub?
Yeah.
It's two, more or less, it's two different entities, but the staff at the Gallipo Center is basically running it now, but it's more to do with food. It has really nothing to do with recreation.
Okay. Yeah, we'll definitely have to have that one added, Joanna, if we could, please.
They used to have tennis courts there too. I don't know if they still upkeep them or not, but there was 4 or 6 tennis courts out there.
Wow. I didn't know that. Well, good to know. Valerie, you had your hand up as well.
Yeah, I see under on this thing, on the spreadsheet, I see under Township of Montague Gallipo Center.
Yeah.
Is that pool? Is that what they're meaning, the pool?
Yeah. Okay, so sorry, my mistake. It is on.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Yeah, it is on there. Sorry, my mistake. I was looking at Smith Falls, forgetting the line. Jeff?
Yeah, the other thing with the Gallipo Center too, as well as the there's rec groups in there. Like I know there's like dance studios in there, and that kind of stuff too as well. So I mean, like their input would be nice too as well, because they might be.
I was also going to say about the Gallipo Center. It was. I originally was a phys ed teacher out there, so I know a lot about the little nooks and crannies. And one thing that used to happen out there quite a bit, and let's say if Montague was ever interested in having a track and field club, it was a fantastic place to be able to use for track and field, because you had the circular roadway.
Yeah.
And the other thing we used to practice, and I used to take kids all over Ontario for track and field meets there. And what we used to do in the winter time, we were also able to use the basement, because from the beginning, from the front to the back, it's between a half a mile and a mile long. So we practiced all winter, the half mile and mile down there. So it was really fantastic. A bit of a dungeon,
1 mile
but
long.
warm at least.
We used to roller skate down it.
Yeah.
So I think, did we lose Brandy?
Yeah, I
I
think
was
so.
about to say we lost Brandy. We should probably give her a couple minutes to get back on.
The log back in, yeah. So I guess that's really the end of it, right? Like if you see any contacts that you know that you can add to that list or anybody else missing, yeah, do you go to you directly, Joanna, instead of, I forget her name, but,
Yeah, you can send it to me and we'll put it into the list. Either
Okay.
I will or Christy will. One of us will get it
so
done.
you're updating the list, not the consultants, or?
We'll add it to the list and then forward it to the consultants with
back to
with
them?
our
Okay,
additions. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
Is the Flying Club on the list?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
I mean, the list is well done. I mean, they have a good,
Yeah, it's a pretty good base.
yeah. I think it's going to give sort of that. It's going to give us that information of what's missing a little bit. So it's at least I hope, anyways.
And what about, I just thought about something else, maybe Ian or Jeff, maybe Ian, you know about this, but do you remember there was a gentleman out on Birchall Road that had something going about archery?
Oh, jeepers.
Oh, that was the guy in,
He owns the
Richmond?
gun.
Maybe,
He owns the gun store in Richmond.
yeah, but did he start something out there at his place, Vince?
No, it never developed. He instead he took the archery shooting range that he was wanting to develop on Birchall Road, and he took it and developed it into his store in Richmond. So when people came in to purchase crossbows and whatnot, they could try the instrument out down there. But it never he never got it built or whatever on Birchall Road.
he's moved now, hasn't he?
He may very well have.
I think he's moved to the other side of Dwyer Hill.
Now, out of curiosity, since you have the list in front of you, do you have the Karate Club out of Port Elmsley?
That's a good one too. Yeah.
No, I don't see it on there. I guess the other thing too is we probably should really move the Gallipo Center from Township of Montague to Smith Falls.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I don't know if you saw the chat message that came up, but we're just looking for anyone who has Brandy's phone number. But like, just either email myself or Christy. Don't say it over the YouTube.
Yeah. I only have her email. I don't have her phone number.
I can send her a Facebook chat message, but I don't have her phone number.
I wonder if she's.
What about the walking? Maybe Valerie, you might know about this. The walking, is there a walking club over near Merrickville that walks on some of the trails that's in Montague?
I don't know. To be honest with you, no, I don't know. No.
Okay,
There used
well,
to be one
there
in the
is
mall.
yeah, but there is a trails association, a trail association, and I know that they use some of the trails in Montague. Yeah, I don't have any contacts, but I know there
think you're
is
right.
something like that.
Yes.
I just
Yes.
got a message from Brandy. Her computer's shut off and she's trying to do a restart. Her computer just shut off and she's trying to do a restart.
Oh.
So she might be having computer problems.
Sorry. Sorry, going back to Bill's question, yes, Tim Allen, who lives on Heritage, he's the chap who is responsible for the walking group, and he would probably be interested in being on this and seeing this. So I'll make a note of contacting him. Shall I do that?
Yes, sure.
That'd be great.
The one type of group that I don't see on the list is like the ATV and snowmobile club. So I don't know if we want to add them because it's not super far from some of the trails.
The Rita Lakes ATV Club is looked after by Rick Gilfillan. I was just talking to Brandy. Her computer went down. She's waiting for it to boost back up again.
Yeah.
So Rick Gilfillan looks after the Rideau Lakes ATV Club, which has a contract agreement or a signed agreement with Montague Township for using the rail trail. The snowmobile club is called Beast, Beautiful Eastern Association Snowmobile Trails. Their president, I think, comes out of the Richmond Club. I can get that information at a later date.
I was just wondering too, the Jasper Fitness Center, is it still up and running? They used to have pool programs there and.
It shut down.
No.
Oh, it is shut down? Okay, never mind.
She might know though what like type of recreation her participants were looking for. So she still may be a good resource, right? Because she serviced kind of Wolford area, which excellent to Montague.
I was under the impression that the Jasper pool that Maggie referred to, she was still operating right up until COVID.
I'm pretty sure the pool part is closed. The physical part of it may still be open.
Joanne, I just emailed you Brandy's phone number.
Is there a book club in Montague anywhere?
Some of the churches have them, don't they?
The
Maybe.
library might know.
Is there not the one that's ran by the library with the little book swap kind of birdhouses type thing?
I think that
The
might
thing
be a
on
different.
Rosedale.
Yeah, I think that might be a different thing, but the reason I mentioned the book clubs is because I always thought that there should be something or possibly could be something done as far as books and reading and so on between the school and the seniors club. But anyways, that's just an idea. The libraries could be contacted to see if there is a book club or whatever.
Merrickville Library could also be contacted too.
Merrickville Library has a book club, yeah.
And they should be contacted because we do support the Merrickville and Smith Falls. Like the two of them should be, because Montague supports both of the libraries quite considerably.
Yeah, they're both on the list.
Perfect.
Okay.
You guys are going to be able to write a book with all of this.
Yeah, well, the more data, the better. The more groups that tell us what's missing and everything else, that just gives us more to run with. So I think it's going to be good. Kim, I don't know if anything more we can do with this. Can we move on without Brandy? Do we need Brandy because she's the chair? How does that work?
We should have a co-chair. I think Joanne's calling her.
Yeah.
Her computer's still down. She can't get it to go on.
Joanna could still take over, I think.
I think so too.
Yeah.
You know, Jasmine would if Brandy wasn't there.
We'll give Joanna the minute, obviously, that she needs, but yeah, if we can do that, then that'd be good. So.
She might be on the phone with Brandy.
Yes, that's what I assume, yeah.
So Jasper's Fitness Center, it does say is closed to the public and that she's retired.
Yeah, so.
That was a nice place.
Joanna, go.
If everybody's okay, I can take over for now until she gets back on.
Yep.
Sure.
You're doing well yourselves anyways.
We had a good round. That was good, yeah.
You ramble through it.
So I think, is that pretty good, guys? I think we have a pretty good idea of like where, like, and if there's anything extra we're missing. Joanna, can you update us maybe with the list later on in the week if there's some additions, and if anybody sees that they're, whatever we mentioned didn't get on there, we can make sure it's on there. Is that good, or?
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'll just wait to hear from everybody. I've written down some of the things you've mentioned myself, just to be sure. Hopefully I've been on the phone, but hopefully I've captured most of them, and
Yeah.
I'll just double check and see, and then we'll send it out again for one more look.
The list was pretty good, so I mean, we only had a few additions. That's good. Okay, perfect.
Can you make it bigger?
Can I make it bigger?
Yeah, it's like this big.
I can, well, I don't know if I can make it bigger. I can print it off on a larger piece of paper, but if I email it, I can't make it a
It's
whole lot
okay.
bigger.
It's okay. I'll blow it up.
The one
Oh,
Christy sent was an Excel document, so you should be able to
Yeah.
make that one bigger, Maggie. It's just
Yeah.
the one attached to the agenda is going
Yeah.
to be small.
Tiny. Okay, next.
All right.
So the next item was review the draft recreation survey, which was attached to your agenda as well.
You know what my comment? I have old eyes, and I found it a little bit confusing. All this skip to part B, skip to A, skip to question 5. It's like when I do my taxes and they say, put the number in this, and if it's bigger than that, put it over here, and if it's smaller than that, put it there. I found it a little confusing, but I'm sure younger people will not.
The nice thing about that, Maggie, is that when it's done online, it won't be as confusing, because when the person picks the question, it'll just direct it to them anyway. So
I was going to ask if that was an automatic. Does it skip ahead as soon as you say no? Then it just goes.
Yeah, that's the idea behind it when I was talking to the people at the consultants, and that's exactly it. So it'll jump for them. So yeah, if you requested a paper copy and that's what you want to do, then this is what you would get. Yes, it would be confusing, but the digital side of it will be a little bit more fluent as far as when people are filling it out.
Well, it can't be as bad as my taxes. So yeah. But no, it
Depends
was
if you get,
very,
it depends if you get a positive return or not, I guess. So it's
there's a lot on it.
Yeah, the only question I have, and I want to bring, I like the questions that bring it up there because it brings everything up there. My only one is question 7, 8, because we talk about the strategic plan, and we have a service agreement with Smiths Falls in regards to our rink, and I think it goes to 8. It says, if yes, which of the following facility services are you or members of your household interested in using in surrounding municipalities, either as part of our organized program or unstructured activities? Please select all that apply. Hold on, I'm gonna go back to that here. There's, I guess, oh, sorry, because the last question is 7. Do you think more agreements of this type are needed for like agreements that we have with the rink? But I think most people might say no to that. And I'm wondering if anybody has any ideas if they look at that again. And this is a question 7 that leads into question 8. How that might be cleaned up a little bit, because we're not looking for more service agreements with other municipalities, because Smiths Falls is the only one we have, and we only have that one service agreement. We don't need a service agreement for like the parks and everything else. So I'm just wondering if there's any ideas out there, because I played with it a bit with the consultant, but I wanted to kind of see if there's any sort of ideas from the recreation committee side of it before we kind of maybe change that wording of that question. Anyways, if there's thoughts, I'm open for, like, I like to hear them, or we can feed it up, because I don't think that's the best way to word that question. Thank you.
Would a better word be consultation instead of agreements? Agreements always mean you're going to pay them.
Yeah, and that's again, we're not looking to pay more money to, like Smiths Falls. We're already paying for the rink. We're not looking to add, and we don't need to go into other agreements. But it's more, yeah, like trying to, like, so people know how easy it is maybe to use those facilities, or how easy it is to use those services.
Well,
I just don't want to confuse people. Sorry.
Yeah, that's good, Jeff. Part of the thing is that the way that it's worded, it leads you to believe that there's there might be more agreements to be had. So there could be an agreement with Beckwith per se, right?
Yep.
So should we enter into more of these agreements? Yes or no, or whatever it might be at the end of the day.
Do you like it? Because I mean, I'm
I
only one
understand what you're
person.
saying.
Is it confusion? I'm kind of curious. Does other people think that that's kind of weird, or is it right? I don't know.
Well, I kind of think it's right because you can always compromise
That's
with
right.
something. It doesn't necessarily have to be, pay us to go there.
Well, the
If we
thing is,
have- if we have something that they want to use and they have something that we want to use, do it together type thing.
But I don't know if a lot of Montague residents actually know where we have service agreements and where we don't. Like aside from the one that the fact that the Smith Falls latest update was very public. And so that one's kind of common knowledge. I don't think a lot of people would know unless they actually went to use that facility and had to pay an out of town fee. Like, for example, we don't have a service agreement with the city of Ottawa, but we don't necessarily pay more to take lessons at Nepean Sportsplex or Minto Barhaven. We don't necessarily pay more, but people don't know that we don't have a service agreement for that necessarily. So I don't know if bringing service agreements is just going to confuse people. Because I know like at one point we needed one with Perth Pool, but like I don't go to Perth Pool anymore. So do we still have to pay extra as a Montague resident to use Perth Pool? And most people aren't going to know that if they don't actually go there. So they wouldn't be able to tell you if they want that as a service agreement or not, unless it was like, do you want a service agreement set up to use a pool? Like, I think it has to be more specific to get the answer, to get a true answer, because people just don't know what we have and what we don't have.
That's a great point. Because I mean, that's exactly it. Because if we go to Perth and you want to use their services, they have an in-town and an out-of-town charge, and the pool is an example. But if you want to go rent the ice in Beckwith, I don't believe they ask if you're an in-town or an out-of-town person. It's just a flat rate of a price, correct? And I don't know. I might be wrong on that, but I think it is.
Idea.
On that, because I believe you're right, Jeff.
And Smith Falls is the same way. If someone comes from the city of Ottawa and wants to rent the ice from the city of Ottawa, they don't have a service agreement, but it's just a flat rate. So they pay that flat rate anyways. So I mean, the service agreements are not standardized. So I agree with you, Melissa, because I mean, it's the service agreements are very convoluted with many different municipalities. So it's hard for anybody to understand those.
And different like complexes have different things. Like, I don't know if we have to pay extra to go to Carlton Place Pool because I don't go there.
Good question.
That is a good question. I don't.
well, we don't know.
And so if I don't know that, I feel like people being asked if we need more service agreements are not going to know that. So like it would be different if we were looking specifically at service agreements and setting up specific service agreements to cut those costs for our residents, like Perth Pool, for example. And you could identify, would you be interested in the municipality setting up a service agreement for Perth Pool to cut the costs? Because right now residents pay an additional cost or whatever. Or if it was like we were looking at renewing the town of Smith Falls. But as I said, most people don't even know that we have service agreements. And the only reason they know about the Smith Falls one is because it was very public and in the news and recently.
I think that it comes down to, Jeff, I think it's the very last line. And I think that's a little bit misleading, right? For me, I think it's more like, do you think we need more recreational agreements or more service agreements with other municipalities to address recreation needs or something like that? I don't want it almost reads that we think that we need more community center arena agreements. No, not really. We don't need another, in my opinion, we don't need another agreement for another arena and another municipality. But could there be other recreational opportunities or service agreements that could be put forth with other municipalities? For sure, possibly.
Like to Melissa's point though, is like so many people don't know that we even have service agreements. So when we bring in the conversation, it's like they don't even know. Like, I mean, and I would use, if you would have asked me 8 years ago if we had like about service agreements with Smith Falls, I mean, I wouldn't have had any idea. I don't even know if we had one 8 years ago, to be honest with you, but I mean, maybe that's why I didn't know about it, but if you're not really involved with it, you may not really have that. You just assume that you get access to it. So maybe, like, is it a question that we should just maybe eliminate altogether? Is
No,
it
I
too
think-
much, or is
No.
it good just to leave it there and just get the info from it?
I think Ian's point is good, because to be specific about recreational needs, because when you just talk about service agreements, well, you know, they may think, oh, well, do we need, you know, snow removal or other types of service agreements? So I think the idea of being specific to address recreational needs is really good.
I think you can really make it simple. Do you think more recreational agreements of this type are needed with other municipalities?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Can we, is it people like
And
that?
farther up on it, if you get a lot of people that are interested in indoor pools, then we could look at an agreement with Carlton Place or Perth
Sure.
for an indoor pool. If you get 3 people, then forget it, but
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
it's gonna kind of depend on what the 2 questions above it are answered as.
Because it might
So
give
I
us
would
that
do it
idea. No, I like that, because it might give us the idea of people that, we don't know how many people use pools in our municipality and like in Perth or Carlton Place. We might have 100 people that are doing that, saying it'd be nice that we didn't have to pay the out of town charges for using those facilities. And that's a very good point. I like that. That's good.
I know a lot of kids take swimming lessons in Carlton Place. I don't know how many from Montague go there, but if people wanted to use it, then we could work something out if possible.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, they do the training, a lot of the training, like you do your swimming lessons, but you also can do some Olympic training up there. Because I know there is a family just up the road from me that actually goes there and they compete, and actually on Rosedale, another family.
Maybe the word that's wrong in that question is needed.
What number are we on, just to make sure? Are we on the 8?
Yeah, because is it needed, or are there other service agreements that would be beneficial to your family, that would be or recreation facilities that you're using that would be an advantage if we're not, you know, if we're not paying out of towner fees, so we're you're getting the in-town fees, the local fees, or however you want to word it, however that goes.
Right.
I think that, that makes a little bit more sense than people understand, because the people that are using it, like to say, if you go to a Carlton Place pool, you know if you're paying the out-of-town fees. Like I took my kids with us for swimming lessons in Perth, we pay an out-of-town fee. So I mean, like it'd be interesting to know how many people are doing that and bringing their kids there and paying those out-of-town fees, and maybe it might be a benefit for them that we're
It looks like
Yeah.
Carlton Place does have an out-of-town fee for their pool, for their lessons as well. So
there we go.
in both municipalities, you're paying extra for not being. Now, the last time I registered for something through the city of Ottawa, there wasn't an out-of-town fee, but I haven't done that in quite a while.
I don't think Ottawa does that. Yeah, it's
I know they got access to their library for free. They're like, oh, you're not a resident, that's fine. We'll just set you up with a card.
oh really?
Yeah, well, I was gonna be there every week, and I asked for the guest Wi-Fi, and they're like, oh, we'll just set you up with a membership. I'm like, but I don't live in Ottawa. They're like, that's okay, you work here.
Oh, you went there, they say. Because I know,
Well, I was like working at the rink nearby, and I had a break, so.
because Beckwith and Carlton Place have an agreement, so obviously there's got to be out of town charges for, and I don't know, does Beckwith have, if they have agreements with Carlton Place, do they have out of town charges? So
I'm sure they
anyway,
do.
and I think that's the biggest thing. So maybe that's where we need to guide it towards, because the people that are using those facilities, that's where they're going to answer yes for it. They know if they're paying the out of town charges or not, and that's what and they're going to tell us at that point. Say, yeah, it'd be great if we had an agreement for pools, or we had great if we had an agreement for the indoor rec fields, whatever it may be. Those are kind of the 2 big ones that are not outside of Swiss Falls. So So Joanna, is that something that can be forwarded back to as well then to our consultant group to kind of clean that up maybe?
Yeah, I can definitely word something in there for them for sure. Okay. I just want to see if there was any other comments, because we also had a fairly lengthy comment from a member of the public. So I just want to, and we just got it this afternoon. So I just want to go over that with everybody, unless anyone else has any other comments.
My only other comment was because there's the note about changing it to like the name of the facilities. I just found if that change happens that the Smiths Falls one's a little bit confusing because it's Municipal Arena Campus and then Memorial Community, which I assume is the community center, which is the same thing to me. So I don't know if that was meant to be something else. That was my only other comment.
I'd like to ask Jeff and Ian and Bill a question if possible.
Go ahead, Vince.
Okay, thank you. Seeing the agreement with Smiths Falls for the recreation of the use of the 2 ice slabs will be coming up again, would it be the appropriate time to ask them to why there is not an out of town contract agreement? So hypothetically, teams from Ottawa or Kingston, more so Ottawa area, are renting the ice, to why they wouldn't pay a higher fee than what Smiths Falls or Montague, Drummond, North Elmsley residents are paying?
Well, for me, Vince, I think that when you were on council last time, we talked about having a steering committee for that thing, that those items could be brought up and discussed. Unfortunately, nothing like that has taken place yet, but I kind of agree with what you're saying. They're not paying the upkeep and the taxes on it, so they should pay in my mind a levy to be able to use the ice.
Okay, thanks, Ian.
I agree, and I just chime in a little bit with that too as well, because I mean, when municipalities were then choosing not to pay into that, and there was the threat of, well, we're just not going to let you allow to play there. I mean, to me, yeah, exactly. I mean, why would we not just charge them a fee on top of that instead of the threat of not doing that? So I think maybe when that comes up again, that's a good point. We can definitely bring that more into discussion. So
certainly, sorry to interrupt. Certainly to the fact that if teams are coming in from Ottawa to rent the ice, I'll just throw a number out there. We'll say that hourly rate is $120 an hour for local people to rent the ice slab, and then the rental for the city to come in, somebody from the city, Nepean, whatever you want to call it, come in to rent it, then the price tag goes up to $165, just as a argument's sake and whatnot. But I just if the rink is always unfortunately losing money, and it's a known fact that rinks lose money and they don't make it, or they should make it. But anyhow, irregardless of which way, I just wondered if council should ask Smiths Falls if out-of-towners should be, as in Ottawa, which doesn't pay into our rink at all, should have an increased fee when they go to rent it. So just something for council to maybe consider and talk about. Thanks.
Vince, Bill, you had your hand up before.
No, just to answer Vince's question, it's great idea to ask, but I'm thinking maybe they do charge out of town people more money to play hockey, but I don't know that, but I have a feeling they do.
I don't think they do, but that's
According to their website, they don't. So they have 4 rates. They have adults and non-adult prime time, and then non-prime time for adults and non-prime time for minors, which is pretty standard. Across most municipalities have the 4 or 5 different rates. Occasionally municipalities have what's called like training ice rates, which is where you can only have so many people on the ice, so you can get it cheaper. but that's more for high performance, which you don't see in the smaller municipalities.
Maggie?
Number 11, do you or your members of your household have a membership to the recreational complex at the Gallipo Center? Is that an individual membership? And is that for all, like, does that include the pool? And I wasn't sure what that question referred to.
I agree. Can you still get memberships at the Gallipo Center? Because they used to have it for the pool, but I don't know if they still do or not.
It says just recreational complex. Wouldn't that mean like the gym and whatever else is there?
Well, there used to be a gym there, and then the
Is that what
pool.
the membership?
I don't
Yeah.
believe we've taken any of that out. When we went to St. John's for our medical thing, they still had the billiard room. They still had, I guess it's quite the spot. It looked really nice.
I didn't know what that meant. So it'd be hard to answer it if I didn't know what the membership included.
Yeah, does it include everything? Just the pool?
I could go to the Gallipo Center site and then find out, I guess.
But I don't think there's any memberships anymore, right? So is it more like your households use any of the recreational services at the Gallipo Center?
Exactly.
Because that could
Yeah,
be
we
like
get a lot
anything,
of-
right? Sorry?
I don't think this question is pertinent to the survey. If there isn't a membership to have, why are you asking people if they have one?
Yeah.
So it does still say, like, they still have their website up, which, so the membership is for pool only. It doesn't include the other facilities. They still have the indoor pool, the gymnasium, a studio, and the sports fields and trails listed as facilities, but the membership is only pool for the pool.
Is the pool still open there?
It's
No.
closed because of COVID.
But besides the COVID, if COVID wasn't, it
Yes, it's still open.
Yeah.
it is. Okay.
Yeah,
thought
it
it
just says
closed.
it's closed due to COVID. It doesn't say like that it's
I
closed.
thought they
closed.
had problems and had to close it. Paying staff and stuff.
From what
No.
I understand, because they deal with us for the chemicals, it just because of the COVID, they can't really have people in there. So they just, I believe, shut it down completely.
I don't know how many people would have a membership there, but is it more pertinent about the using of the recreational facilities there? Because I mean, like I said, there is like if the pool opens up after COVID, but there is dance clubs there. There's other recreation things that are going on there. That maybe would that question be more pertinent to say like more about what recreation things you're doing there, not what membership?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So doing your
You're gonna
members of
get
the
a lot of
household,
uncertain.
yeah.
A lot of people are gonna say uncertain because I don't know.
Yeah. Or they just might, they'll just put the uncertain or no.
Brandy Val's got something
Val,
there.
sorry.
I just have a comment about participating. Maybe one could reword it that, have you participated in any of the recreational facilities at the Gallipo? Because most of them are privately owned, right? Like there was that gym that was mentioned, she's up and moved somewhere. So, and the pool, yeah, you did have to buy in every month or a year or whatever, but you did get a break if you were a Montague Township resident. So maybe just rewording it to have you, instead of have a membership in a recreation, how about participated in a recreation complex? So.
Can we go with that? Does that work? I think that's a good idea because I think it
Yeah,
cleans
it
a little bit.
sounds better.
Is that good? Okay, Joanna's got that. We can feed that back and see if they can sort of reword that a bit too as well. I'm going to call her later on this week too as well, one of the consultants too as well, just to kind of go through it a bit too as well. So after we get through this, it'll be good.
So I text Tracy Nolan, and there is membership still available at the Gallipo Center, but the pool's closed due to COVID.
Ah, there you go.
Good.
And we get a consensus then on that about changing that wording that Val brought up.
I'm game for
Yep.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it's fine.
So Joanna, can we have that changed or modified, please?
Yeah, I'll get that wording, and we'll
Thank
work
you.
on something.
Thank you.
Are we on to our community question? Do we want to entertain that?
Sorry, Jeff.
I guess we had a comment from someone. Do we want to just see what that is about?
The working group?
Or I can probably just flip it to all of you. She's just making comments on some of the questions. A lot of them are kind of similar to what you guys had. So we can do it one way or the other. I just wanted to mention that a member of the public had sent in some comments. So we can go through it one by one, or I can send it to you guys and for your reference, and I will forward it to the consultant as well.
Thank you.
Perfect.
I'm good with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all in agreement.
Anything else at all, or the rest of the survey look pretty good for the public?
The rest of it looks good.
Good.
Hope we get a good response.
I mean, that's the biggest thing is if like when we get this released too as well, and thanks for bringing that up, Maggie, because we want to make sure that I mean, we're going to get it pushed out there, obviously digitally. We've talked about it in our last council meeting too, as well as bringing the Montague Messenger forward, so we can get it in the Montague Messenger. So the ones that are basically when they, everybody gets their tax bill hopefully and reads their tax, or at least takes a glance at it, and we can have a little bit of a blurb in there, so at least every resident will get something that will talk about looking for that recreational feasible study, the survey, through our webpage and our Facebook page. But then like blasting it out to as many, I mean, I don't do a lot of social media, unfortunately, but I know other people do, and blasting it out through Montague Talks and through other your friends and anybody you know, and ask them to do it. Because I mean, I'd love us to see 500 to 600 responses, like as far as the community goes for this. It might be ambitious, but but I think it'd be it would give us a really good reflection of what we're trying to do from this. So
Maybe the staff could put something on the sign outside township office once it's released.
Good idea.
We don't need to know the fire ban's off. We know that. I can't get to my fire pit. So take that off. That's good. And put on something about check the rec committee, blah, blah.
Yeah, we could certainly probably do something like that. A little messaging there for sure.
And
Survey.
we should actually probably put something on there about the recreational committee, that we have one and what's going on, and that we're going to be looking for things to start to happen at the hall once we get past this COVID stage. And we're looking for ideas and everything else.
Yeah.
We have, so anything else on there that anybody didn't like on the wording or think needs to be corrected?
Nope.
No. So Joanna, did you want to go ahead and read that, or you're just going to send it through the email and we'll look at that way and then get back to you on anything?
It's certainly up to you guys how you want to go through it. If you want me to read it out loud, I can. If you want me to just forward it on to you and the consultant, I can do that too.
Email's fine with me.
Email's fine.
yeah, I go through it for that too as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think better then.
Okay, so next on the list Now that I've got all these papers fumbled up. So that was everything for that survey. So do we have consensus then to take everything to council for the survey? I guess we should probably have consensus on that for Joanne's direction.
Sounds good.
Sure.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, here I go. Report from working group annual calendar. So I know I haven't had a chance to talk to Melissa. I've had ideas stirring in my head over it. I wanted to ask a question about the would it be good to contact local Montague businesses to see if they want to have their number and maybe like a little business
Get some sponsorships.
card? Yeah, like, well, just like a card, just as to, like, I find with how fast it's been growing in Montague, or like our growth rate's been really good. Not everybody really knows businesses in Montague. And the phone books aren't like what they used to be, as we all know, because a lot of people have cell phones. So is it good to maybe approach businesses to see if they'd like, on the calendar to have like their business name and their phone number on there, or contact?
Well, we could do it as sponsorships to help pay for the calendars,
Yeah.
like sell advertising spots.
Kind of like you go to the diners and they have the placemats with all the businesses on there and stuff like that. So maybe the back side of the calendar could be all businesses, or we'll figure something out. Anyway, that was the only thing that I had that was really jumping out at me. Other than that, I know I haven't had a chance to talk to Melissa over anything.
There's a lot of businesses on the township page listed under business there, and I believe they're all local. So they can all be contacted and see if they want to buy a little bit of ad space on it.
Yeah, we could do up like this size, you get like this size for this much, this size for this much,
Yeah.
type of
We'll
thing.
have to watch too, though, on how big is the calendar going to be? Is it going to be the same spreadsheet that the hall normally has? Like, when we get the,
So
like a-
ideally, like I'd like it to be set up kind of like the Smith Falls or Rita Lakes one.
where you flip the pages.
Yeah, where it's an actual calendar and it's all pictures within our municipality. And I think that's a really good chance to highlight local photographers as well. And
Yeah, because they probably do it for less of a fee, just even for advertising.
well, and I know some people who aren't actually photographers that would submit their photos just because they take really good photos. Like one of my friends has a farm in Montague, and like I'm sure she would submit some photos of her farm, which are just amazing. Especially like she's been out snowshoeing the last couple of weeks, so the pictures that she's been putting on Facebook are just awesome. And she will, like, I have a couple friends that will just go somewhere in Montague and take pictures, and they would probably just submit them for free and allow us to use those pictures.
You could ask on the Facebook page too for people to send in a picture and then
Yeah.
pick the top 13 or something.
Well, we could even do it as like a mini contest or something
To draw notice.
to have like 13 photos, one for each month, and then the cover photo.
And, even to reach out to businesses, there's nothing saying that they can't do a photograph of their business highlighting something, do you know what I mean? Like a feature or whatever, and to be included in the draw as well.
Yeah.
Okay. The other
I don't like
thing,
that one.
working group monthly programming coordination.
Do you guys want me to read it?
Sure, go ahead, Nick.
I have to read it because I can't, my thoughts go crazy. Anyway, first of all, I'd like to commend the staff for the media release on January 4th regarding the Rosedale Hall Trillium Fund grant. In it, they stated that Rosedale Hall is a hub for the local community, as it should be. Even though we still have a bit to finish, the septic system, The hall can and should be used by the community. So the subcommittee has been talking, well, actually typing because of the lockdown, about ways to get back to using Rosedale Hall for our community. And this is what we'd like to recommend to the committee on how to achieve that. We would like to see the hall being used on a regular monthly basis, starting at one night a week to schedule information nights. Third Thursday, second Wednesday, doesn't matter. We have this event on a regular monthly basis. If people know that there is something going on that night or want to get involved with it, they will remember it and check it out. These information nights can involve seminars to give the community information important to them that they may not know where to get now. Some of the ideas we've come up with are advanced care planning, care of an Alzheimer family member, fire safety for seniors and families, internet safety practices, tax issues, and a lot of how-to seminars. Power of attorney, wills, fireproofing your home. There's a whole list of them. Presentations by professionals, veterinaries, building contractors, financial advisors, and again, the list is endless. These are just some of the ideas. The agenda item from November on senior organizations had lots of great subjects. We would like to use as many local presenters as possible and offer a wide variety of seminars. In addition to this, we would like to see another regularly scheduled evening to offer entertaining nights. And some of the ideas that we've come up with for these nights include wellness programs, including yoga, Tai Chi, dance, gardening, climate change, gaming nights, including cards, darts, and yes, pickleball, craft nights, winemaking, painting, stained glass art, wreath making, scrapboarding, and information nights on geology, bird watching, skill learning. We realize with the current pandemic, we are going to be limited as to what we can offer and when, but working with the local health department, we should be able to start offering some of these around April or May. Melissa sent me a guideline to the health department, and by following this guideline, which includes mask wearing, social distancing, contact information, and the use of PPE, we can start to plan events within the next 60 days or so. We would like to involve local groups and instructors again as much as possible. We can use our social media to find out where the interest lies and what ideas people think would work and would like to attend. Further down the line, we'd like to set up a regular Saturday or Sunday afternoon activity for the kids in our areas. These can be sports related or crafts, movie afternoons, etc. We know it cannot all be done at once, but we would like to get help and direction from the rest of the rec committee and the council to start working on this. Rosedale Hall is ready and waiting for us to return to it. As a separate item, we have also discussed the postponed reopening of Rosedale Hall and would like to see some planning, something in conjunction with Canada Day. We have not had any local Canada Day celebration in a very long time, and I'd like to see that changed. Again, it will depend on how the pandemic is declining, but as it is, we will be in the summer, we can make use of hopefully good weather to do more outdoor activities, barbecues, local entertainers. Someone mentioned fireworks. I think it's better to have a plan and have to cancel it than not having a plan at all.
Very well
Yeah.
done, Maggie. That was awesome.
Comments, questions? I'll send a copy of this out to all the members in email, and you can look over it.
I thought it was very well written. Jeff?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think it's great. I mean, that's a great starting point for everything else. And to a lot of those things that you're mentioning too, as well as, I mean, we're actually going after a grant that's going to help us with some of the, I guess, writing towards the needs for that, which will help us get funding for that kind of stuff too, as well. Because it'd be great if we do those kind of events and we can get funding to pay for those professionals to come in. To do those kind of seminars, but on the same token, I mean, council is correct me if I'm wrong, Ian, but I think we have, like, you know, we're kind of in the same boat about another $5,000 kind of sitting there for recreation committee for this year.
Yep.
At your disposal per se, or at our disposal. I use that loosely, but to do these kind of things too as well. So I mean, like we definitely right, Ian? Is it $5,000? We have kind of like,
Yeah, it's kind of ear tagged there for right now, Jeff. I do believe it's still 5,000, same as what we did last year.
same as last year, but last year it really got messed up. But we will have definitely, like, there's going to be money there, council side of it too as well. So to help finance it. But it's great. This is great. This is what we need. This is what we want. It's great.
We're going to try and make the seminars as free as possible by using local people, like anything to do with the fire. I'm sure Miles will be happy to come and talk. Things like internet safety, we can use the Police Services Board for that. Alzheimer's Society, they do seminars all the time on different areas of dealing with Alzheimer's and living with Alzheimer's, etc. And they don't charge. Some of the ones for entertainment. Now, if we're going to have something like, I think Brandy did one where she went and painted a board or something.
Oh, had fun with that.
Yeah, and you pay to go, you pay for your supplies, and I think that pays the person who came in.
Yeah.
People will pay to go to stuff they're interested in.
Mhm.
The information ones I'd like to keep, if we can keep them free, and if not, we can make a charge, or hopefully maybe that grant that we applied for will give us some money to pay for those people to come in.
Melissa?
Maggie, you mentioned tax clinics in one of your things. Have you looked into the CRA free tax clinic program?
We haven't looked into any of them. It's just ideas, and we're going to
Okay.
sit down and come up with. We're going to start the information one, I think, first, which is probably the easier one to do. And
Yeah, like I don't know if
find out
we,
where we can get the information.
yeah, because CRA actually runs like a free tax clinic program where like community organizations would do the tax clinic at their facility, and CRA basically comes in, gives you the software, gives people the training to do it. But I can definitely pull up the information
CRA?
on it. Yeah.
Canada Revenue?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want them to know where I live.
But I can send you the information on it. I haven't done a community one in a long time. I used to do them on campus though, so they would give us the software and they would provide the training. Now
Oh, that
ours
is great.
was done. Ours was
Great.
slightly different on campus because it was our accounting professor that ran it, so our training was a little different. But I've heard good things about the community one, so I can send off the information on that to you guys.
And we have the screen and the projector for presentations. We're going to have to make sure they don't need internet access because a lot of the presentations nowadays are done on the internet. Excuse me.
Well, and that may be something that we want to look into because I know internet's really, like any presentation you go to or any seminar, a lot of them rely on internet, whether like, for example, Skate Ontario does lots of ones. Now they're all online, but they used to be in person, and every facility that we went to, we had to have internet there because they have to use videos or whatever that they
Right.
need to log on to. So that was a huge requirement in terms of
Well,
running seminars for
We have to
us.
keep after council to get internet put at Rosedale Hall then.
So, and
I'm
Meg, you're
looking
right.
at certain people.
The hard part with that obviously is it's such a dead zone there. I mean, you go out there with your cell phone, and I've done it with mine too, as well as saying like, and just do a speed test of what you're like, of like the 3G, the network that's there. It's horrible. And trying to get, so we can do it, and we can get like maybe a 10 megabit system there. But correct me if I'm wrong, and maybe Ian remembers too as well, but it's like the initial charge was $600 and some, and then like the $100 a month on top of that. So, but once again, I'm open for that conversation. I'm sure, I don't want to speak for Ian, but I mean, I'm sure he is too, if we're seeing the usage of it, because we pay for $100, not $100 a month, but it's close to that for a phone there anyways. If we can replace that with internet and go that route and kind of offset that charge, we'd reopen that conversation. But I think that conversation died a little bit because we weren't seeing the value from it. And also we weren't even, because we're talking about putting it there because of our council meetings. And really we made the smart choice of just going completely virtual altogether. But I'm game for having that conversation because I agree with you. If we're gonna do something there, internet is a must. So we may have to invest into that. So.
Patience had your hand up.
Yeah, well, I agree with Jeff on that. I think that if there's utilization, the hall's being utilized and there's a need for internet, then that's just one of those things, right? So we can look at getting it. May, a couple things just as people were speaking here. A couple things to add to our list. Melissa brought up about photography. Maybe a digital photography class. Like someone to come in and do, yeah, a digital photography class. You know, you could go for a walk on some of the trails, this, that, and everything else, and do that. You know, something else would be pretty interesting to do is how to get a severance in the township of Montague, where people get confused by it.
Yeah.
And if there was something that was put on maybe once every quarter or something, that we'd have somebody come and help and answer any questions or anything else, that'd be great. Something I saw the other day, actually I was watching a show and it came up, there was a lady, she was doing an art and wine class. So they're, you know, painting and it was a ladies group and they were having a glass of wine while they were painting. You know, some things like that are great things that we can do. We add those to our master list, that'd be great.
Val was mentioning that there's a lady in, I think, Merrickville that writes books on gardening and climate change. And
there's another one.
Like
Maybe they could get Jeff or Ian to be male models for them.
Oh, Vince, I don't think there's enough money in the budget for that, bud.
That grant that we were looking at for seminars, would we be able to use any of that grant to upgrade the internet? Not upgrade, put in the internet at Rosedale, or is that just for speakers?
No, the grant is more like about setting up seminar services and how we can service that population. And it's more this. It really kind of guides to more the senior population. But to give you options, how do I word this? And what's out there and what you can do and everything else with that. So not really for paying for like to put internet in or speakers and all that kind of stuff. It's more just about the programming itself. That's my understanding of it when I really got it. Yeah. So.
Because I think for the entertaining stuff, like photography, etc., I think what we should do is do like an introductory night to introduce it and see how many people are interested in it. And then if there are 20 people that want to keep at it, then that would be a separate group, a separate night, and they would charge whatever they charge.
You and Boy Wonder, you settled on a wedding planner yet?
Like, I don't think we should do yoga every Thursday, or, you know, unless they get a lot of people. It's more to get people interested in what they want to do and getting a group together.
the exercise.
We can't give the hall free every night. We've got to make some money on it. But the information set seminars, I think, should be totally free, unless we have to pay a speaker.
Or if you had somebody like St. John's come in and do courses and stuff, they would obviously have their own fee for that.
And a lot of them are free. If they get enough people to sign up, they'll come and do it for free.
Possibly.
I think those are great. Those are great, Maggie and sorry, Ian. I was just going to say real quick, because I mean the biggest thing is that we get a little bit more exposure of that hall. That upgrade that we did. I mean, if you go around any other hall, there's no hall that looks as good as that. So I mean, like I think that's a big part of it. If we get even those seminars in there, people will realize how nice that hall looks now, and it might help drive the paid venues too as well. Sorry, Ian.
That's, you know, just on that note, I'm not so concerned about the paid portion of it. I'm more concerned about utilization of it. We pay the heat, we pay all that kind of stuff anyway for right now. But we can get the utilization of it up, then I'm really big on that part of it. So, you know, if we want to have a gardening group that comes there, if they use it for free every one Thursday a month for free, in my opinion, go ahead.
It's advertising, right? You got to look at it at a different perspective, and that train of thought, Ian, is perfect because it's all advertising. It's word of mouth, it goes from those maybe 15 or 20 people that came to the gardening that one day, to saying, oh, do you realize that, if you've got a really good, thing to put on, that it's available. So word of mouth is always the best way for advertising.
Yeah. The other thing that we need to remember too is getting ourselves as prepared as possible for all these events coming up. Because once COVID-19's done and we get through this whole thing and everybody has their immunity, there's going to be a huge uptick in people wanting to get out of their house, get involved in these groups, and have some social time with some other adults.
Yep.
Probably have some good parties thrown in there before, but as soon as it's over, we all might be one of the first parties there, I think.
I have a buddy that's already planning the New Year's Eve party for next year. He goes, "We're having a great New Year's Eve party next year because we got screwed this year." So,
and that's exactly why I'm saying we should start looking now into something for Canada Day, the reopening of Rosedale, combining the two. I know it's on a Thursday, Canada Day, but if we can do something outside, we don't have to worry too much about it. Because we haven't done anything for Canada Day in a very, very long time. Everybody goes to Smith Falls.
Val?
I wanted to ask the question about partnering with the Forget Me Not folks. I see on a list that I've been asked to approach them. So I guess now would be probably a good time to do that and introduce some of the ideas that we're coming up with, because they don't have the space to offer a lot of activities that we're planning. So to partner with them and to include them, how does everybody feel about that?
That's a great idea. And they're right across the road.
For seniors, yeah, for seniors. Get them more involved with us, and because I know in the past it's been sort of a tense relationship, and maybe this would help both sides of the road, sort of thing. So, yeah.
That's a great idea.
That goal of bridging the gap, right? And I think that 100% they should be, know what we're doing and be a part of it in some way. They might even have other ideas to bring forward. We could get lucky and them turn around and say, well, we really don't have the space. We've had to turn away people for certain things. Maybe we could, move it over there instead. So I think that's, it's very, very important. Is everybody else in agreement?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine. They make really good meals. We could use them for Canada Day. They could do lunch or supper.
Pies.
I've heard the food is amazing. I've never actually sat for a dinner, but I've heard that things are amazing.
Oh, it's good.
Oh, it's good.
Now my mouth.
Excuse me, Brandy.
Yep. Go ahead, Vince.
What's developed with the floor at the hall? Have we got it fixed yet?
Good question. Joanna, do you know anything on that?
It's on that list with the contract.
She probably doesn't even know anything about it. We're catching her off guard.
Don't know an awful lot about it, I have to be honest. I know what you know from the media release.
What?
Okay, maybe you can find out from us, just 'cause they needed to do a couple of fixings on the floor. Just
When
to
we
see
were
where we're
there
at
for the
with that.
Santa Claus, when we were there for the Santa drive,
Yeah.
the part of the floor is lifting.
Yeah.
Here's
And
what-
we just
Four pieces.
wanted somebody to get a hold of the contractor and see what can be done before it gets any worse. And it's got to be under some kind of warranty or whatever.
I know that's being looked into, but I haven't heard the results.
Yeah, Jazz before that was kind of like right in the switch over from Jazz to Joanna. Obviously, I had followed up with Jazz for her to check into that. So I'm assuming exactly what Joanna's saying is she started that ball rolling as far as getting that done. But yeah, there's some floor issues there that definitely need to be fixed under warranty, and it should be fixed under warranty because it's brand new. But yeah,
I'll follow up about that for sure.
Yeah, we want to stay, yeah, you know, we want to stay on top of that, so, yeah.
Did
So what's
any,
our next step with this?
sorry?
What's our next step with this then? Do we start making lists for like picking a night a month and start doing something with it? Do we start asking the public what they'd like to get involved in? What they'd like to hear about?
I think the advertising is definitely like we need to start advertising, but until COVID really ends and we get the go ahead of numbers, the only thing we can do is just small, limited. I don't know.
I was just gonna ask, like, it kind of backs us up a little bit, but are some of those things that you're bringing up, Maggie, which are fantastic, would they be good to go more on the survey? Have all those things that you're bringing up, are they been encompassed in the survey to ask? Because we can really get out there. Are you interested in like those type of things like paint nights and, because that's all recreation too as well, in my opinion. And I mean, it's a, you know, like, should we add that stuff to it so we might get a good picture that people are interested in that? Or no?
If we gave them the ideas on the paper, then they could check like, yeah, that, no, that, you know what I mean? Like it would give them a list to look at, to check off on.
And some people don't know what they're interested in until they try it.
That's a very good point. Yeah.
Like I wouldn't do stained glass, but maybe if I went to a night and they showed me how to do it, I might get really into it.
But if we, sorry.
Go ahead, John.
If we ask that question maybe on the survey saying, if this was done in Montague, stained glass, paint night, winemaking night, firefighter, whatever. I mean, you could have, and you know, click all that you would be interested in knowing more about or participating in. If we had that in the survey, would that help sort of like give us a little bit of data to say, you know what, we had 50 people that said they would be interested in doing a stained glass. Well, you know, fire it out there, and if you can get 25 of them to say that actually commit to it, then that's a successful event. But then you got to, it might give you a little bit of data to know, because I agree with you, like, but people might say that sounds kind of cool. I wouldn't mind thinking about that if it was offered. I mean, is it something that maybe we should have as part of that that survey that like exactly what you're saying?
I'm sure it wouldn't hurt to have it in there.
Yeah.
I don't know how long the list would actually have to be.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, you can have 30 choices there, or you can have 25, and then people can put in their thoughts too as well. Because if you get, I mean, if we get, I'm just making up numbers, but like 7 entries for this specific thing, well, that's 7 unique people that thought of that just by themselves. So it's like, you know what, you might want to put that out there as an option when we do something, because that 7 people is going to turn into 21, because, you know, the × 3 factor where they're going to say, you know, I never thought of that. That's a great idea. I'm gonna go into that. So I mean, it's a. I think that's this is great but this is the time for us using the survey that we're doing right now to get the data for the exact questions that you're asking for, and we can encompass it still into those survey questions.
Sure.
So Joanna, if Maggie forwards that off to you, and we can get that to Catherine, right? Catherine?
Yep.
Yeah, Catherine.
Thank you. I was drawing a blanket there from earlier, but if we can maybe see if we can encompass an extra question in there that kind of says about, because a lot of it, like, you know, to get out of the sports thing, but into that, especially like into that kind of thing. So
I agree with that.
Yeah,
because
I think
we had said things like yoga, Tai Chi, dance.
what happened
We
there?
could put all that down and say if you're interested in any, but sure.
Yeah.
Is it too late?
Not too late.
no, we can forward that in there. And just in reference to the floor, we have called a contractor. And the last communication I can find here is December 23rd. So I will follow up with him tomorrow, just for reference there.
And I think that was kind of when we all went to where you weren't allowed to go anywhere.
I can't hear Brandy.
Okay, so I'll send you the list that the three of us had come up with. And if you can think to add something else, and
Ceramics.
with that.
What?
Ceramics. I saw
Oh,
somebody
yeah.
that, I don't know, got in contact with Chemphil, and they were doing ceramics or whatever, and she just got them, and I was like, hey, that's really cute. The whole family did ceramics one day. I wouldn't mind painting some ceramics.
I want to learn stained glass. I think that's cool.
And as you said, like 11 people can turn into bring a friend. There's 22. You know what I mean? So it's.
Well, like I was saying, when you did that paint thing, was that at the school or was that at the senior
I was at
place?
the Forget Me Not Club. It was
Yeah.
I believe, a fundraiser over and above. So like I think part of the proceeds went to the lady that ran the paint thing, but you paid for your what you made, and then there had to be 25 to 30 people there, and we had a blast. It was all ladies, maybe one guy, I think, which we were like, woohoo. But yeah, it was just super fun. Now adding some alcohol into that, it could get pretty interesting with the paint, sure.
We got a bar.
Can't
We got
see
a bar.
that straight line.
Firefighters run the bar, yeah.
No, but see, I would have never gone to that until I saw what you had done. And I thought, shit, I should have gone to that.
Oh,
It
and
did
like
look
we
like
all
fun.
laughed. I met new people that I had never met before. So again, it's meeting people in the community that you wouldn't normally maybe have met, and just another way to get out with the ladies. And you got something out of it. You got to bring home, like I still have it. I put it out for Christmas, and and you can do front and back, in certain cases. So like one could be Christmas, and you flip it over and it could be like Halloween or something spring, spring like, but it was a blast.
I'm just wondering, we should probably put something too in the
Did
messenger.
anybody else have anything to add for me?
Brandy?
Yep.
Yeah, we should probably put something in the messenger as well, just to make sure that everybody knows it's going out there. The other thing I was just thinking of is we probably could add something to our website specifically for the recreation committee. Not just the minutes of the recreation committee, but maybe a calendar that shows what's going on throughout the month.
Oh, that'd be great.
And if the class is full, or maybe you can sign up for the class, you could do all these different things on it. Or if you had suggestions, or you'd like to volunteer to put a class on, or whatever it might be.
I think we talked about that in the past, and like including where people could submit community events as well, and then like having council meetings on it as well.
Yeah.
I thought
and
we talked about that when the website was being revamped. So I don't know if that's
think it's like
possible
they would
anywhere
set-
on the website.
To sign up for it.
It's
Well, maybe
something
that's
we can look into, but it would take a bit of time before it could get up and running, obviously. We have to look at the cost of doing that.
But with our new website, we can do that with the guys. That was the whole thing. I remember talking to the consultants about that when we were going through that process, about having bookings and anything else and all that through that, and they can handle all that too as well. And that was a big part of it, was the building of this website, and then also how does that lead into us as we go on, because that was it. That this website was not set up to be just what it is now. It's to set up for what it's going to be if we need stuff in the future. So yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Okay.
But the calendar that's on the website now, we can just add to it, can't we? We can put recreational stuff in maybe red or blue, a different color.
Yeah, I'm
can
sure we
add
can. We can certainly look into that, or have a separate area. Like I would kind of be more inclined to have a separate area and a separate calendar for the recreation committee, perhaps, because otherwise the calendar could get so busy that you don't really know what's going on. But either way, something to look at.
So Joanna, do you know if we can do something, if I know we're not in lockdown, but if we're in like what they call the protected rate or something, or the control, can we do something at the hall?
I mean, we'd have to obviously be in contact with the health unit. Right now, it's, as you know, the stay-at-home order, so we shouldn't obviously be putting anything on that would draw people out of their homes to go somewhere. when that lifts, we can certainly check with the health unit and follow the required procedures. I mean, obviously the social distancing and the masks, it may be something like groups of 5 or groups of 10, whatever that is. I don't know the numbers, but we can work through that with the health unit
Yeah.
to see what could be possible.
My
It wouldn't be
suggestion-
large.
Yeah, my suggestion would be to do like a pre-registration for the info nights because of
Yeah.
the limits, so that people would have to commit to come in and like basically take a spot. And I don't know if it'd be worth it until we are in green, yellow, or orange. Because at that point, depending on what the health unit says, it could be up to 25, where before that you're at like 10 for indoor if we're in red. And
Yeah.
then with your instructor and then somebody from the recreation committee, that takes you down to 8.
And
So
it changes all the time. They're just changing, basically by the hour. So what you get told one day, 3 days later, you might get a totally different answer. So it's a very difficult thing to monitor. Not kind of squash anything, because I think it's great ideas. Absolutely. It's just how do we fit this in with the pandemic, and how do you plan for those changes as they come along? I think you'd want to be further along, closer to the green zone before you start doing any real, significant planning.
But without knowing when the green zone's going to be.
Yeah, I think you do everything you can, to plan for, when we're a little bit less restrictive. You can do all the planning behind it. There's nothing stopping from the planning and the calendars and the, hey, would you be interested in this or that, like Jeff said, as part of the survey? And then when you get a solid answer, then you start working on those, few things that you think might be beneficial.
Right.
Awesome.
Sounds good. So I'll send you a list tomorrow of the things that we had the activities that we spoke about, and you guys can get them put on that survey.
Can you send that what you have there, Maggie, to all of us? Because I'm very, very interested in reading
Yeah.
over again what you had. Yeah. So that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I've got it here. I'll send it out to email it to everybody.
Perfect.
Ian and Val have it already. We made minor changes.
So does anybody have anything else to add to that? So moving on to unfinished business. Does anybody have any unfinished business or anything that they need to bring up?
I was going to mention the floor, but it's already been mentioned. So
Yeah, good thought. No, that's it?
nope.
Okay. So 7:34. All right, so give me direction that the recreational committee confirm all of the direction as agreed at the meeting of January 25th, 2021, and forward that direction to council for final approval. Do we have consensus, or do I have a mover? Okay, Melissa and then Maggie. Is that good? Okay. Melissa. Maggie. Okay. All right, so it is 7:35. Do I have a mover that the meeting, to adjourn the meeting? Melissa and Jeff. Okay, so the meeting is adjourned at 7:35, January 25th, 2021. Woohoo.
Thanks,